It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divas That Care. My name is Candace Gish, and I'm so grateful that each and every one of you has tuned into today's program. We're going to be welcoming a brand new diva to our family, Linda Nadell, and I am beyond excited about what this woman is doing out there, and I know that you guys are going to be inspired like I am. So we're going to definitely be talking about some really great things she's doing. For any of you that have just tuned in for the very first time, a big welcome. The Divas That Care is actually going into its 11th season here, and we are listened to in over 30 countries around the world. And it's because of all of you amazing people that we've continued to do this. So a big shout out to you all, and thank you so much. Well, as I said, today's guest is Linda. Linda, welcome to the program. I'm so excited to get to know you.
Thank you so much. I'm really honored to be here and excited to talk to your community.
Well, we're excited to have you. And, you know, before we kind of dive into what it is our topic is today, would you mind spending a few minutes kind of sharing who you are with all of us?
Absolutely. I am someone who has taken a pivot in their life. And so historically for, the majority of my life, I was a healthcare provider. I am still a healthcare provider, actually, on the front lines during COVID, in fact, and PA and cardiac surgery. And so for 15 years, that's what I did and still do, and have been very passionate about that. And I've loved helping so many people get through, healing their hearts from a physical sense. And I was enrolled in a program at Columbia for healthcare administration, sort of an MBA for healthcare practitioners. And during that program, actually, there was a class, an entrepreneurship class, and there were some business classes, and one of them was an entrepreneurship class. And that was an interesting time in my life. I was commuting from coastal Connecticut. I had a daughter who was about 7 at the time. And here I am really just gung-ho about being a hospital administrator. This was my next step. I was really passionate about improving quality, from an administrative level in healthcare. And so I would go 4 days a month from Connecticut and commute into New York City to do this program. My family was amazing, by the way, and my daughter was up there on the stage with me at graduation, which is wonderful. But during that program, I took this entrepreneurship class, and the first day of class, my professor, Asha Saxena, who is the CEO of a couple of different successful tech companies, asked the class, who's ever had a business idea? And I did have this idea, so I raised my hand, and about, one of those moments where should I raise my hand or should I not? But I'm like, you know what? This is a great, audience to share my idea with and get their thoughts. And so I was brave enough to do it. I raised my hand and I shared my idea that I had a few years later from a conversation with my cousin. And my cousin had been going through a really difficult marriage for years and was just paralyzed in fear and guilt. She was from a small town, a religious family, and didn't have anyone in her circle that had been through a divorce and come out on the other side. And so she's really very scared. And even though I told her she was in an unhealthy marriage, she deserved better, my advice just wasn't valid, and along with all her other friends who were happily married, right? So she called me one morning, years into her unhappiness in her marriage, and said, I had the most amazing conversation. I heard a change in her voice. She said, I had an incredible talk with a woman who was, in her 50s now, but at my age, which was 40, my cousin was 40 at the time, took a leap of faith. She was scared too, but she took a leap of faith, and she took that leap. She got divorced, and went on to live the happiest years of her life. She told my cousin, honey, I was scared too, but I did this and I met the love of my life, and you can be happy too. This could be your life if you just, hold on to that hope and believe that it's scary, but maybe take a risk. And, I lived the best years of my life thereafter. And this gave my cousin just this pivotal moment of hope and empowerment. This word empowerment, right? But she did feel that empowerment at that moment, that she could decide which way her life was going to go. Patients are incredibly valuable, but for many women, they're happenstance. They're often happenstance. And how could I create a platform that removes the happenstance from these incredible conversations and makes them easily accessible to all women? And so that was my idea. I gave the class my 1 minute or 2 minute pitch, and my professor loved it. It turned into a class project, and the rest is history. Some classmates jumped on board, and we created this platform. So that's a bit about me and what brought me to create SageLink, which I never thought I would be a tech founder of a company, right, of a tech company especially. But now I'm healing hearts, I'd like to think, in a different way. So
I love it. I'm excited because I want to learn what it is all about. This platform is absolutely fantastic. I think that we need to definitely share it with as many people as possible. So I want you to kind of talk about what it is and how it's helping people.
Absolutely. I would love to. So the platform itself it's a digital platform. So we are a website right now. It's sagelink.com, and the name Sage, SAYGELINK, SageLink, is about the wisdom from saying or sharing. And so sagelink.com hosts our general platform, which you can go and essentially be matched with another woman over a targeted topic. And so you can go and you can say, hey, I have an experience in divorce, or maybe it's being a software developer. Our categories span career, relationships, parenting, infertility, pregnancy, all kind of issues, big issues women go through in their lives. And you can go and say, I have this experience. I'm here if you want to reach out. And or you can go and say, I'd like to reach out to someone with insight on that topic. And we match you with someone who shares that topic or has experience with that topic. And our platform sets up a mutually convenient chat for the two of you. Along with that, we have virtual events, which are community builders. So once a month, sometimes twice a month, we have interactive discussions where over a specific topic, we'll have speakers who share their journeys on a certain issue or a topic of interest, and the boss opens up to an interactive discussion about that as well.
Oh my goodness! And this, because it's online, it's a global thing. Any woman in the world could be a part of this.
That's absolutely right. We currently have women from 5 different countries, and we've just launched a little over a year ago. So we are expanding globally, and the vision is to be truly a global network where women can connect with each other from all around the world.
Oh, wow. I think this is great. And I know that our listeners today are thinking the same thing. What a wonderful thing that you have done, and that you're able to put people together. And that's what it's all about. I always said that when we started the Divas That Care, it was a way for people to connect. And what you are able to do is really connect them on a one-on-one basis. And I think that is absolutely the way of the future. And I applaud you for that. Way to go.
Thank you so much. And that is true. We value that we offer that real conversation. There's a lot, and what you're doing here with these podcasts, right? You really get to hear someone's story. There's a difference, and there's a value for a lot of the social media platforms and social networks where you can post sort of make a post and get a bunch of comments. But sometimes it's really valuable to actually listen to someone's story and be able to have that that back and forth.
Yeah.
So that's what we're really hoping to foster.
Well, I think you're going to do that. And you were mentioning that you have a lot of speakers coming on. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. Every month we have a different topic that's important to our community. For example, last month it was divorce, and we had 2 women share their journeys with divorce on we call them our Sage Real Stories events. And it's just really women telling their just true uncut stories of their journeys with this topic. And so we had 2 incredible women who shared their journeys that were both very different. One was an amicable divorce, one was not so amicable. And so we just heard those different perspectives and opened it up to a discussion. And then we actually had a follow-up event, which was a panel discussion with 4 incredible, we call them Sage Pros events, where 4 experts one was a lawyer, a divorce lawyer, one was a mediation expert, she was a mediator, and a psychologist, who specialized in divorce. And they came and gave their kind of expert, more logistical advice on divorce. And that also opened up to an interactive discussion. Next month, we'll be highlighting financial freedom for women and what that looks like, and different ideas of being your own boss and things like that.
I think, Linda, you've got it going. This is great. And what a time to do this through this COVID pandemic, where people are stuck at home and they're not able to do things. And now through here, they can get those real connections that I know a lot of people are missing out on.
Absolutely. I think COVID has really taught us a lot about how to really maintain valuable connections when you can't actually physically be together. And we're trying to pull in a lot of those elements into our platform. We were already digital pre-COVID, but just listening to really what people need to have a very valuable connection during this time digitally. And I wrote an article about the value of connection in a digital world, and it's not easy sometimes to foster that. I think what you're doing on this series is excellent, and there are ways that we can certainly do it, and we're figuring it out.
Well, I love that, because it is. We don't even realize that, and I know that I'm guilty for that, not realizing how much I craved being around people when I wasn't able to be around any people. And I needed to find connections elsewhere, and doing it through online stuff was the way that I was able to start making sure I had those close connections that my spirit required for myself to continue. I don't know how people made it through this last year.
Yeah, I know. And really having that sense of community, like who's going to be there. I think I love our platform because no matter what you're going through, someone's been through it too. And it's a welcoming community where you can just bring your, unapologetic self. But I think also, what's interesting about connection, I just want to share with you, one of our members, I oftentimes touch base with our community and just ask them how it's going, how is their experience, and she said something very interesting. She said, I made a connection through SageLink, and after that, it actually encouraged me to reach out to my network more, because it was almost like an icebreaker for her, where COVID had just started. She was kind of feeling and move and see how chatting with someone can really just make you feel so great and unalone. And so it sort of broke the ice for her. And so I think any listeners, that are feeling that kind of isolation, as COVID persists, I think just even breaking outside your comfort zone, just making that move, making that first connection can sometimes just stimulate an opening of the floodgates, of wanting to connect more.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was so interesting.
It is, and what a great tip, because, sometimes we forget that. We do. We kind of get lost in what's around us right here, and we don't look outside the box, and I love that tip. How can our listeners that are really intrigued, how can they become a part of this? How can they become a member? Tell us more about that.
Sure. So if you head to sagelink.com, our sign-up process, everything is free. So it was very important to us that we found ways to have a self-sustaining company and allow women to connect regardless of ability to pay. So I just want to highlight that this is a free platform to use. And so you sign up at sagelink.com, again, SAYGELINK.com, and you create an account. It's very easy. It's a 3-step sign-up process. You upload a photo, put a few lines about yourself, and your best time, general availability if you do connect for a chat. And this just allows for a more, easy setup for chat so that there's not a lot of back and forth about when's good for you, when's good for me. And then once you've onboarded, you browse the topics. You can either share your experiences, or you can connect with somebody over a specific topic. And so when you initiate a connection, you just go to the Connect tab, select a topic of interest, and you're offered matches on that topic. And you can look at the profiles of the women you're matched with and decide who to reach out to. We have an amazing community of women right now, truly incredible. So
this is awesome.
Yeah, and that's it. And then you set up a time that's mutually convenient. And what's nice about our platform is no personal information has to be exchanged. So the chat is set up once a time is confirmed on both parties. An email is sent to both women with a slot for a Zoom chat through a Zoom phone line. So it's really easy breezy, convenient, private, and valuable. That's really what we've been trying to create, and that's the process. So I would encourage anyone listening to log on and check it out. Also, once you create an account, you'll be on our list for events, for our virtual events, that you'll be notified and register if you feel you want to attend one of our empowering virtual events as well.
Well, I'm excited because I'm going to be sharing this with all of our tribe out there on all of our social media platforms, because I think this is wonderful. Linda, you've done such a great job. I'm going to be posting it in our Changemakers Cafe. We have a group on Facebook where our listeners connect on there too. So I'll make sure that this link gets posted into that too.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That's what it's all about.
Well, thank you.
I'm
absolutely inspired by what you're doing, Linda. This is exactly the kind of thing that our listeners are looking for. They're looking for ways to connect with people. And, I thought when I came across this, I'm like, this is exactly what they need. We need to be able to get this platform into to many people as we can so that they can do that.
Awesome. Yeah, we're growing an incredible community. I would love for it to continue to grow with your community as well. And I really applaud what you're doing with your ambitions and divas that care, because this is what it's all about. I think the more women come together and not only support each other, but support each other's efforts to support women, it's just going to be this incredible snowball effect. And I just can't wait to see the results.
Me neither. Well, Linda, do you have any last-minute things you'd love to share with our listeners? Anything else that's going to be happening in the future?
Oh, wow. Well, let's see. I would love to share that, we are listening to our current community and building out our products along with them. And so hopefully by next year, we're going to actually be having an app version of our products. And whoever is part of our community in the meanwhile is really going to be part of that development of that. And so that's really exciting time, to be part of a community in that sense, that you're really going to help us build that and what that will look like. So I'm excited to meet everybody that signs up and welcome you to our community, and keep doing what you're doing, and we'll be following along with you.
Oh my goodness, that's excellent. Thank you again so much. And one more thing I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind, Linda, is there any tips, any tools that you would be willing to share with us today?
I think a big life lesson that I've learned. So SageLink is all about, learning from our experiences and sharing that in order to help others. I think what I've learned over the last few years is whatever life path you're on doesn't have to be your path just because it was the first path. And just being open to the universe and what, may need to change and pivot, especially during COVID. I think so much is changing right now in the world and in our own lives. And I think sometimes we get set on, this is how my life was supposed to be. I have to stay on this path. And I think one thing that I've learned is it can be anything that you want it to be. So that would be the tip that I would leave everybody with today.
I love that tip. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thanks for having me on and for allowing me the time to speak to your community.
Wow, Linda, we had a great time, and I know I've learned so much. I'm looking forward to joining your group there because I love to connect with other women, and I know that a lot of our listeners are probably thinking the same thing, that this is such a great platform that you have developed, and we want to be a supporter of that. So thank you so much for sharing that on our show today.
Awesome. I look forward to being in touch, and thanks again.
You are so welcome. And a big shout out to all of our listeners. Make sure that you take a link of the recorded program and send it to your friends and family. I know that the women in your life are going to want to be a part of this. It's a great way to connect with other women out there that are probably going through something similar that they're going through. So make sure that you do that and support Linda and her endeavors and what she is doing. Oh, gosh, guys, you know what? It's going into our 11th year, as I was saying. Thank you so much to all of our listeners that are supporting the Divas That Care. Make sure that you check out our anthologies and also check out our other hosts on the Divas That Care network. They've got some pretty amazing guests that are coming up on the programs in the next little while here, so you don't want to miss them. Again, thank you to my amazing guest, Linda, today, and thank you to all of our listeners. I hope that you enjoyed today's program, and I hope that you do something kind. Until next time.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.